Yep, there we are, live. Sweet. Hey, Alan Basinger, GDW. We're coming up on a new video series that we're just developing. This is actually the first video, and I've got a guest helping out today, Ray Rice, right?
Yes.
Anyway, Rice here. She's agreed to come help out because she is a master at finding products using tools, and I really wanted her to be kind of involved in this. I chose her specifically because I know how good she is at it, and we're going to kind of educate each other because I have a few tips that I do and a little tricks that I do to source products, and so we're going to have a good time here. Hopefully you guys are going to learn a lot and make things happen. So say hey, Rye.
Hi guys, Rye here. Very nice to be here. I'm very excited about this. And you're not the only person who accidentally calls me Ray.
I apologize. It wasn't. Yeah, you know, you get to talking and stuff. The adrenaline's going. Actually, and it's funny is I've done a lot of presentations in front of people, so generally I don't feel nervous a lot. You know, I don't have a problem talking. But for some reason today, just a little bit of nerves. I'll be honest.
What? You and I have chatted before with Jake.
Yep.
So I feel like we're old friends.
That's exactly right. Oh yeah, that's exactly right. We have chatted. I think you know, Jake was probably one of the first hangouts that I did. It's actually on my website now under video, so people can jump in there and kind of get a rough idea where I started and kind of how we played the game. Anyway, I'm going to jump in the desktop, go through a little quick PowerPoint so we can bounce back and forth on a few things, kind of help keep myself organized and things like that. And we'll do some desktop things, share a little bit, and get the ball rolling. So first thing I want to do is press the share the desktop button and make sure I get the right one. All right. This is the one showing. Is that good?
Looks good. Mm-hmm.
All right, Amazon Zero to Hero. Step one, we're going to go over product sourcing. And I'm going to show you guys this mind map that I created here. You can see that. Whoops. And I wonder if I can zoom in, but generally this mind map was a process flow, kind of the way I look at how my business works. As a lot of you know, I've been someone on Amazon for quite a while. We're a $4 to $5 million company right now. That fluctuates. I think last month we did $360,000. Yeah. Hey, right. When I first did that first webinar with Jake, I was only doing like 180 then, 180, 190. So
nice.
How long? That was what? Maybe on the edge of a year.
Oh, I was going to say about maybe 10 months.
Yeah. Just, I mean, not even a full year ago, we were only about a 180, 189. And now it's 360. We've doubled. So this stuff really has worked pretty well. I do a lot of things different than a lot of people do, and I do a lot of things the same. And I learn all the time. So hopefully we can help you guys learn. So if you look at the chart here, you'll notice that right here in the beginning is product research, number one in yellow there. And around it are a bunch of ideas on how to come up with product research. We're going to kind of go over that section today. Then we're going to look at ordering, and we're going to look at selling our samples and getting some initial feel for the market. And then we're going to kind of learn how to tweak those and get our listings to working really well. And then we're going to look at something I call the product launch sequence. And the product launch sequence is really the meat and potatoes of driving a private label product or any product online. And getting it really well noticed quickly and getting some fast sales off of it. A lot of that will have to do with Amazon, and we'll look at pre-launches through Facebook, and also we'll look at tweaking our products, things that really kind of make a difference in the customer's feelings and what they feel like they've received as far as value and things like that. So that's kind of what this whole Amazon Zero to Hero is about. And so today we're going to start it off with product research. So Rye, I know you've been really cool about helping a lot of folks out using a lot of tools, and I know you do some really cool stuff. So I really want you to take those areas on. But okay. I'm going to start it out kind of with the areas that I started my business with, and that's arbitrage. And I think I probably do most of my business today in one form or fashion of arbitrage or another, be it what people call retail arbitrage, general arbitrage, things of that type, or online arbitrage. So I think I just named the three different types that most people are familiar with. I started this business basically with liquidation. And we're going to go over that. We'll go over the cost plus model, which is a cool model. I haven't really told people about this yet, but it's something that worked really well early on and allowed me to gain some volume, especially now at the Christmas season. This is probably a pretty good hack that people can use. Just recently got back from the ASD trade show in Las Vegas. I'll give you some pointers on what I have been able to do there, and we'll talk a little bit about online arbitrage. Now, you're a private label queen, right?
That's what people say, but I do primarily focus on private labeling. Personally, shopping, and I know it's shopping for business, but shopping gives me a little bit of anxiety. So I haven't done any retail yet. So everything is private labeling at this point. But maybe in the future, I might get over my anxiety and go out there and buy low and sell high.
Well, I sure hope to give you some good tricks to help you get over that anxiety.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Alan.
Hey, I completely know it. Like I said, I was a little nervous starting this out, but I'm starting to get in the swing, so I feel all wonderful, right?
Yes.
All right, so here we go. Liquidation. So liquidation is basically a term that's used by manufacturers, different companies, to liquidate assets. What a lot of people don't know is that your major store chains liquidate all the time. I mean, all the time. And you'd be completely surprised how much product comes off the floor in, say, a Sam's Club or a Costco or a Walmart or a JCPenney's or Macy's, or just put a name on it. They're pulling stuff off the floor all the time, and they're dumping it, liquidating it to get their cash back and reinvest in other profitable products for them. The funny part is that those liquidated products, they sell for less than it costs them to buy them. And that's a trick, right? That one there. I'll give you an example. The LCD TVs, I became an authorized Vizio dealer, right, for Vizio televisions. And the best price you can get, whether your Best Buy, Walmart, whatever, is generally about 30% off of retail, off their MSRP.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
That's right. So if the TV sells for $1,000, the store had to pay $700 for it. There's no real money or margins in that product if you buy it direct from the manufacturer through a distributor or any of the normal sources. But if you find it through a liquidation company, you'll find that you can get it for 25 to 50% of retail. And the reason that happens is because, and I'll just kind of give you a story. It's funny. When the LCD TVs and the plasma TVs first came out, a 42-inch TV plasma was like $4,000. And people would run in and they would just buy the TV because it looked like it was a good price. And then they would take it home and they'd realize either it was too small for the wall that they were going to put it on, or it was too big. They didn't really think about that. They just kind of ran and bought. And so what do? Put it back in the box and return it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stores can't resell that returned product as new. So most of it gets liquidated. It's brand new. It's an open box, but it's liquidated. So they will just move it out the door and sell it. Same goes for, let's see, summer's over, so swimwear is no more in most of the stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
So swimwear is getting pulled off the shelf. All the brand new swimsuits are being removed. All the swim fins, all the swim masks, all the floaties, all of that summer fun stuff is getting pulled off the shelf, and it's getting put on a truck to be liquidated out of those stores. And then you have customers who return things because it's broke. So you do have some items that are broke. And depending on the store, you can find that 90% of what you buy is new, brand new items, or you can find that 50% or less of what you buy is resellable product, and the rest of it is junk. And that has to do with store policies. And really, you just need to ask those stores what their policies are so you can find out if it's something you want to do.
Understood. Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to ask. It's pretty simple. Most of the bigger chains have a manager whose specific job it is to deal with this type of product. They'll call them loss prevention managers a lot of times,
Hmm.
and their job is to negotiate purchases, negotiate rates. The big chains work on contracts. So, and it's a per store contract, not buy everything from Sam's Club. But your local Sam's Club will auction off their liquidation for a term, a period of time, usually a year, and you'll go in and have an opportunity to do a sealed bid on the product. When I started after about a year, I actually won a Costco, and I had one Costco shipped me one 53-foot semi truck every week.
Oh wow, I didn't even know you could do that. That's very cool.
About $100,000 retail value product, and I was buying it for $35,000.
Oh,
So
nice.
65% margin.
Very nice.
So basically, I could sell it for 30 off, which is less than the stores could even sell it for. I could double my money
Hmm.
and move it so fast I couldn't keep it in stock. Now, that's not to say that it's a perfect system, but it works really well if you learn it, you understand the terminology, you understand how the process works. Now, just starting out, I would recommend that most people look for liquidation companies. When I was in Vegas at ASD, I actually took a group of people from several of the Facebook groups who met me there, and we
Hmm.
went to a booth of one of the companies I used to work with and met the sales manager for that company, who I've known for probably 10 years now. Sundance Smith with liquidation.com, or Liquidity Services LLC is the corporation. They run the site liquidation.com, and they also do government liquidation.com and quite a few others. Sundance is a great guy, never steered me wrong, always straight, and it was really good because I could just tell him, here's what I want to do, and he would kind of point me in a very good direction. So with companies like that, you can buy less than a truckload, you can buy a pallet, you can buy a little bit at a time and just try it out, not put yourself too deep into it, and kind of learn that process. And that's how I built my Gadget Deals wholesale up to $1.5 million in about I think 10 months, 11 months.
Very cool. I was actually going to ask that because I personally I don't have 35,000 to put for a whole container, but it's good that now that you let me know that I can do a pallet or
That's
even
right. No,
smaller.
I built my way up there. I bought, small pallets and spent, $500 or $1,000, uh,
Hmm.
and and got a variety of products. I think on that hangout I did with Jake and Terry and you guys, I mentioned that first pallet I bought was $3,000 worth of cameras from PayPal, and I learned a valuable negative lesson, and that is learn what's happening, because I ended up with a pallet full of junk. So liquidation companies can be your friend. I invite people to definitely look into those. Liquidation.com is a great place to go. There are quite a few others available out there. Just do your research, understand the terms. You're going to have shelf pull, you're going to have store return or customer return, and you're going to have salvage. Unless you're someone who can fix things or whatever, salvage generally isn't a very good place to start. Customer returns can be good, uh, but you got to know what store it's coming from. I wouldn't want Walmart customer returns or Sam's Club customer returns. That's just my opinion.
Hmm.
But I'd hook up with Costco customer returns any day of the week. Shelf pulls are generally always good. That's usually end of season products or products that they've decided not to carry anymore. So 90% of the time that stuff is brand spanking new. And then, of course, anytime a company is liquidating assets, a manufacturer or something like that is trying to liquidate off excess inventory, that's all brand new inventory right out of their warehouse. And that's a really good buy. Just make sure you have a manifest. I wouldn't touch anything if I didn't have a manifest, because the manifest tells you what's in it, tells you what the manufacturer's suggested retail price is, which is what your payments are going to be based on. And it's going to give you an idea of what the value of that is. And it allows you to do some research on that manifest at those individual items and see what the current online retail prices are to see what kind of margins are going to be there for you. So
Gotcha. Very good to know. So,
yeah,
and that's just the term for knowing what's inside, what the value is, and it's called manifest, correct?
yeah,
Okay,
exactly
good.
right. Yeah,
I'm taking notes.
it's a list. A lot of times it's an Excel spreadsheet or Word document, and it's just going to line item every single thing that's on that pallet or Gaylord or truckload that they're looking to liquidate off. You can also find refurbished products through a lot of the liquidation companies, iPads, iPhones, a lot of that kind of stuff, PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones currently today. A lot of that's available through liquidations at good prices. Jewelry, surprisingly, I was able to do very well with watches and jewelry. In the same thing with the liquidation companies as well. Like jewelry, like watches, the margins are really good. They are slow-moving products. I prefer to stay in the fast-moving stuff today, but there are margins, and if you've got a market for that kind of stuff, you can really make it happen. Auctions, that's another great place to go. Have you done much auctions, Ray?
I went to a couple of USPS auctions, so things that get lost in the mail for a certain amount of time and aren't claimed. They used to host them in Atlanta. I believe it's now all done online. But when I lived in Atlanta, I went to a couple of those and made a couple of purchases.
Postal Service auctions. Hey, that's not even one I even thought about. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, they did two. Well, at the time they were doing two. I think one was held in Indiana, and one was held in Atlanta. And I went a couple of times. People would bring like U-Haul trucks, and some people would bring trailers. Books were a really big seller. A lot of people came there for the book lots.
Hey, that was my next question was, did they open up what was there to decide what you were buying, or was it like all the boxes still in the packages and you got like Christmas 100 times in it?
A lot of times, and of course there's no guarantee that these things work because they haven't tested or anything, or there's no guarantee that things are authentic. If there's a good chance that they're not, they would throw it out. But a lot of times things were exposed. Some things, of course, weren't exposed. There's like literally a trailer of books. You could go in there, walk around, but I mean, you really couldn't like touch or really move things around. But you can get an idea of what's in there. And then they would separate it by different categories. Like they'd have textbooks, and then like fiction novels, medical resources, different type of like electronics. Like they would have like an Apple display where it'd be different type of like iPods and iPads and things like that. And then you might go to the next section where it's iPhones. So they had these different type of categories, and you would literally be able to look at it, but hardly would you be able to like touch it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like most auctions tend to run that way. You have all the time you want to kind of look at it, but you can't go play with it or mess with it. That's interesting that they were that organized. I guess it's not like going to one of those the storage auctions where they kind of auction off the storage. They kind of crack her open and open it up, and you got like 5 minutes to look in there, and then
No, there was a time period to actually walk around and look. So I believe it was maybe 30 minutes to an hour before the auction actually started. And of course they were all numbered, and I believe, yeah, they gave you a little booklet. And then from there, the fast talking man goes up there, and you go ahead and place your bids.
The auctioneer, they're great. Hey, so auctions, we got the Postal Service. That's good. You mentioned the fact that they're probably online. You can do a search on Google and find just unlimited numbers of auctions, both locally and in other states, that are now going to an online format. And they'll have estate auctions, you name it, automotive auctions, things like that, where you can just sign up for their auction, and they'll email you on a regular basis when they're getting ready to have another auction. And they're pretty good about telling you what it is that they're auctioning off, so you have an opportunity and a little bit of time to see if it makes sense and if there's some margin in there for you to sell on eBay maybe, or some of the other niche market sites that are available. I'm definitely a firm believer in not putting all my eggs in one sales channel. So, when you have different lots of products in there of mixed condition and different types of products, you find that some products may be more suited to an eBay, other products may be more suited to an Amazon. Like those books, that would have been a great buy for Amazon.
Yeah, and a lot of people did come for the textbooks. The auction was held, I believe, once a month or once every 2 months, and the textbooks were always like a really big winner. I guess with people, really wanting to make those sales, because a lot of times we know that this is going to sell. College students need the books, point blank. And I know when I was in school, the two places I looked for books was Amazon and eBay.
Yeah, you know it. I think that's a great market, and really kind of blew up on those guys to make it happen. So auctions are great, guys, but you're bidding against somebody else. They have different types of auctions. They have live auctions where you're actually bidding live against other people. They'll have auctions called a sealed bid auction, where you look at what they have available and you just put your best foot forward, estimate what it is that you want to, you're willing to pay for it, and put that bid in. And if you win, you win. And if somebody put a bid in for more, they may be the winner. So you have these different types of auctions, but they're definitely a good source. And then you can always go and have a good time at the storage auctions and see what kind of Christmas you're going to have. Other places I like to look are going out of business events. When companies or manufacturers or retailers, hey, look at that, silence. When retailers and other people like that go out of business, generally their assets are auctioned off. And in the newspapers, they have to, especially if they're a corporation, notify the public that these assets are available for sale. And the funny part is there's not that many people show up to many of them. I guess, it's kind of the way the society is today, but not as many people show up to those as you would think. So you can go and find like a retail store, not a large one, but maybe the small, the medium, mom and pops or mid-sized regional chains that are closing down a store and just auctioning off everything that's in it, including merchandise, including store fixtures, including basically, everything there. And you'll find those in the newspapers. So you can find them local. And just make a trip down there and check out the auctions and see what's going on. We used to hold auctions when I did the liquidation. We had product that just didn't fit any of our sales channels. And so what I would do was hold an auction once a month in the parking lot of my warehouse. And then we would post it on the Green Sheet, which was a local paper here, a community paper. We also did it on Craigslist. We'd post on Craigslist, which, by the way, is a great local sales channel. I've moved so much product on Craigslist. Stuff I wouldn't want to move on Amazon because, like a ding box or something, Craigslist was just, if you live in any kind of city that has people and has a good Craigslist following, it's an amazing place. Get to understand how to post on it so that it works really well, but it can do a lot for you. Just be careful.
I can contest to that. I had a product that was a total flop, and I was able to liquidate it in bulk via Craigslist, and it was great.
Nice. Hey, that's a great idea. I didn't even think of that. So if you got excess inventory and you just want to blow it out, you actually put the entire lot on it, and somebody came, paid you cash, and took it away, huh?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And they pay, I want to say, the same amount that I paid to actually get it from China, because I was importing that particular product from China. So it was awesome. The product got blocked on Amazon. Amazon would not tell me why, and it's literally, I'm still kind of fighting to find out why. And I just get like this generic email, but I didn't want to just sit on it because I am moving soon. I was like, I can't, have my living room with all these boxes. So put it up on Craigslist. This guy basically told me, he resells too. So it worked out really well.
Hey man, you're right. And you don't want your cash sitting on the floor of your apartment. You need to move it out and get your cash back. That way you can invest in something Amazon might let you sell, right?
Exactly. And I just launched a new product last week, and it is selling fantastically. So I'm so glad I just sold that product that got blocked. But if Amazon does unblock me, I do have a couple around the house that I can kind of test to see if it's a winner and just order more.
Excellent. Excellent. Hey, let's I was kind of talking about the auction, so I'll kind of finish that up. I would do an auction once a month, post it on the different websites, the Craigslist and things like that. And it started a little slow. You know, we had maybe 10 or 15 people the first month, but then the next month we have about 50 people, and then the next month we'd have 100 people. And I was able to move a lot of product that just didn't fit my market through those auctions. And like you said, you know, you start the bidding roughly where you hope to get it to happen. Some of them really would just, you know, sell way past your expectations, and some would lose. But what you're working on is something that we call a blended average, and that is that your wins, your high wins, are going to be high enough to offset the losses on the other side, and you end up where you want to be in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. This one's a secret, Bryce, so you're going to love this. And I call it the cost plus model. When I was first looking, when I first sold on Amazon, and I think I've told this story before, right? I had Gadget Deals, my store. We were liquidating products, selling TVs and stuff. And I had a young lady who worked for me. She was a paralegal, extremely smart. I love her to death. Great person. And she asked me, hey, you know, we were selling off stuff on eBay, but we hadn't been selling on Amazon yet. And she said, hey, you ever thought about selling on Amazon? And I'm like, you know, hey, I'm swamped. I love sales channels. So, you know, what is it going to take? So I asked her to do the research. She came back. We had a meeting, talked about it. And so, you know, I asked her, I said, can you head that up? Can that be your baby? And she's like, yeah, no problem. So we picked out some product that we were going to pull and set aside specifically for Amazon. And then she created the flat file. It was my first experience with the famous Excel spreadsheet. And she posted it up, and stuff sold fast. It was like boom, 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 selling really fast. And then within just days, immediately, it was like 1, 2, 3 negatives in a row. Boom. Like the first 3 sales, first 3 ships, 3 negatives in a row. And I get a notice from Amazon in my email saying my account has been banned. You know, we took care of the customer, refunded their money, did all this, but it was one simple mistake that the lady who worked for me at the time had made. She had put down new on the product, but because of the product being shipped around, the boxes were scuffed up and dinged. So the product inside was new, but the boxes didn't look new. And because of that, when people received it, they thought new, and they looked at it and said, hey, this thing looks like it's been, you know, kind of through a war a little bit, and they didn't like it, and they were unhappy. When what she should have put was used. And so that one little mistake on the very first shipment into Amazon that I ever did got me banned, and it took 4 years for me to learn how to get unbanned. And so I decided I would never sell used on Amazon again, and I haven't. So
I haven't sold anything used, but yeah, I've heard stories of exactly what you just told me. You know, the box being a little dinged up, and because of that, it has to be considered used when, you know, technically it's not. But you know, it's Amazon's playground.
And here at GDW, we do the inspections. You know, I mean, since I do fulfillment by merchant for the food products that we sell, and for most people who know, I sell food products, so I'm in food and groceries, and that's kind of my niche. The problem with Amazon is their warehouses aren't climate controlled, so they actually make you pull specific foods out, chocolates and things like that, during the summer months. And it didn't make sense for me to have a warehouse just for me to ship my own product during the summer months and not just do it all the time. So we built a fulfillment center and fulfill products here. And 90% of my business is fulfilled by merchant. And so the fact that we did it, and we do it every day, and we ship out probably in our peak times 20,000 units a week. I have the process down. We have the inventory management systems, and so we're able to do fulfill by merchant. So we did with GDW, we kind of launched that into the Amazon Facebook groups, and offered that service to people for that very reason. And we'll get product that comes in from China, from these manufacturers, and when the box comes in, I tell my guys, I say, look, if it doesn't look like it's brand spanking new off the shelf, if it's got a ding, a scuff, a dent, or whatever, we're going to pull it off to the side, and then we're going to come back and revisit it, and then we're going to take pictures, and we're going to show our customers what we see, and we're going to warn them that, you know, customers will complain about it. And we've had a couple of them that just said ship it anyway, and we've had some that, you know, got new packaging from their manufacturers and we repackaged it for them. But one of my customers came back today and sent me copies of emails of the feedback that they got.
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback basically said, got the box, opened it up. Inside, the box had been dinged up, looked really bad. Wonder if Amazon put it in that way. And they just, luckily, I mean, it was like a couple of 4 stars, but it just shows that Amazon customers are picky. They want that stuff to be brand new. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So in cost plus model, the way it works is like this, and I'm going to use an example of a GoPro camera because they are very fatty. They're a really good niche product during peak seasons like Christmas. So I'm giving you this tip at the perfect time. And you can't buy them through normal distribution channels. At least most of us can't, and be able to sell them online. They have a pretty strict policy on their pricing and map and things like that. And the cost plus model allows you and me to get around that. So you can buy using the cost plus model and ignore map all day without ever worrying about the nasty gram from the manufacturer in an email form saying you're selling below cost, do it now or I'll stop selling to you. Guess what? You didn't buy from them. So all right, so here's how. Yeah, exactly. So here's how it works. Cost plus works like this. You're going to go find, you don't want to go do this with, say, Sam's Club. And I like to use them a lot. So I'm not really picking on them. They're a great store, but it isn't going to work there because they're a very large buyer and they just don't do things like this. You're going to go find like a mid-range, medium, regional, or local store. I'll give you the example. When I bought my first set of GoPro cameras to sell on Amazon and eBay, I found a local Pimp My Ride type car facility. They dealt with Porsches and Lamborghinis. They were high end in an expensive part of town. They had a beautiful showroom, so I knew they had a lot of costs, but they had GoPro cameras and all the accessories sitting right in there. So I actually just called them on the phone. I'd never been in there. I looked around online, found them, gave them a call on the phone, and just said one thing. Say, I want to buy $50,000 worth of GoPro products from you. Here's how I want to do it. I'm going to come in. I'm going to give you an order. You're going to place the order, and I'm going to pay you cost plus and a percentage over cost for placing the order for me, and I'm going to pay you cash right now. You give me a receipt for the purchase. When it ships and it comes, you call me and I'll come pick it up.
Ah, gotcha.
Very
smart.
Yeah,
I love
it. I gave them an order, came down, met with them, shook hands, met the owner, said this is what I'm going to do, and if it works well, I'm going to do it again and again and again because I can move more of this than you can handle, and I'll turn you into the #1 GoPro dealer in the region very quickly. And so I did. I was ordering $50,000 a week, about $200,000 a month. And it was funny because GoPro was like, how are you guys selling all this? And they're like, YouTube videos. we show them on our hot rod cars and stuff like that, and people on YouTube videos, and they go crazy. And they buy them from us. So it was kind of fun. It worked really well. You know, you got to have a little bit of faith and trust. And you don't have to start as big as I did. I mean, I had a little bit of an advantage of already being established, and I could afford to lose that kind of money and not be destitute. So I wouldn't say go, you know, put all your eggs in that basket, but it is an option. And you don't have to just use GoPros. I did it because I wanted GoPro cameras during the Christmas season, and I wanted a brand new version. At the time, it was the GoPro 4. I'm sorry, GoPro 3. GoPro 3. And so we were able to buy them brand spanking new, full warranty, all the stuff, and put them online and sell them below where anybody else could sell them. And because of that, we could move them extremely fast. And everybody wins, right? They place the order. They're the authorized dealer. It was a great way to do that. Since then, I've been able to do the same thing with watches, I've been able to do the same thing with designer sunglasses. I mean, just think about what you could do that with. Go into the mall to some of these stores or these kiosks that are dying for business and offer them, you place an order cash deal, and watch how fast they say yes. Now, I think I made 3 phone calls to get those GoPros. As a matter of fact, I know I did. I made 3 phone calls to get the GoPros. I had one company in another city that was close to my house that said yes, and I bought from them. I had and I had the one company here in Houston that said yes, and I bought from them. And I had one company that just decided they didn't want to do it, and that was fine. I didn't care.
With the GoPro, if you don't mind sharing, I definitely understand. What was your margin, your profit margin on that?
Well, I mean, so the profit margins in electronics is about 30%, right? For pretty much everybody is 30%. We were able to get them for cost plus 5%. So I gave up 5%. I had 25% potential profit in them, but I gave up 10% of that to net 15%. So we ended up netting 15%.
Okay, because your goal was to move it, and you moved it fast because of the price.
Exactly right.
Okay.
A lot of people complain about that, but when you look at
overall, you're making more money. You're getting the most sales. No, I definitely understand. I love it.
Yeah, and what it is it's about flipping your cash. It's that simple. No, and I'll put it in a real easy way that people can understand. If you take $10,000 worth of product and you sell it at 40% margin, and it takes you a month to sell that, you make what, $4,000? Okay. Now I'll take $10,000. I'll make 10% margin. I'll flip it 8 times a month. How much do I make?
You double.
I make $80,000 exactly. I make twice as much as you do. Your sales are slower, mine's faster. So higher volume at a lower margin can work. Now you need to be careful with that because your costs can be higher as well. So your shipping costs are more. So your cash flow management is really important. But if you understand how to do that, it works a lot better than selling a higher priced item with a higher margin. Generally, if you look at products that don't move fast, the margins are always higher. Jewelry margins are 200 to 300, 400% or better. Mattresses margins are in the 1,000% because people buy mattresses once every 8 years.
Right.
But they buy other products, and I'm not saying GoPros, but other products they buy more frequently. So the more frequently sold products, the higher volume products, you can get away with that margin. So I was able to do that using a cost plus model in the high end luxury item market. It worked very well for me. So I've been able to play that and use that to my advantage, where other people may not be able to do that. And so that's kind of a really cool hack that some of you guys may have a little bit of fun with. Now, have you
the
done
wheels are already turning.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying the wheels are already turning. I already have ideas to kind of like tweak it a little bit. So I'm excited. That was a good one. Thank you for sharing.
No problem at all. That's a fun one. I remember when I first met a little Jewish man from the East Coast who taught me that trick. Because I was complaining about how I couldn't get the high-end retail luxury fad style items. It just wasn't worth selling because everybody online was selling them for nothing. And I could never get that kind of margin. Plus the manufacturers were forcing me to sell at MAP or not allowing me to sell online at all. And this completely bypasses all that because you get the right of first purchase in the US. And since you bought it from an authorized distributor, you can do whatever you want with it and they can't stop you at all. So no, they can send you a nastygram all day, tell you to stop, do whatever, but they legally have 0 feet to stand on, and you can just smile and say, thanks, see you later, and don't even worry about it.
Love it.
So have you done any trade shows, Ray? Right?
No.
No? All
No.
right. Trade shows are interesting, and I started out with one of my favorite trade show secrets. I think I'm going to save that to the end. But trade shows are a great way to find up and coming products, fad style products, and or well-known name brand products, and be able to sign up with regional distributors who will sell high volumes to you. Uh, because as a distributor, most distributors, they may make 2, 3, 4%, but they
Hmm.
sell such high volume that it adds up for them. Um,
Right.
and they get kickbacks from the manufacturer for hitting milestones and sales goals and things like that. So you have some good advantage working with those distributors, and almost all the distributors work the trade shows. And it also can give you some ideas for products for private label, right?
Good,
Walk,
good. And
walking the
how
floor.
how, how would one go about being informed about trade shows or searching for trade shows in their area or a particular area?
Well, I mean, there are some really well-known ones. The Computer Electronics Show, or the Consumer Electronics Show, CES, is held. There's multiple CESs around the world, but it's held every year. It's one of the largest electronic shows in the country, and all the newest, latest, greatest electronics tech is going to be at that show. You get to find it all, and that's where the sales reps for these companies and these distributors are, and where you'll be able to buy that product. I went to ASD in Vegas last month. They actually hold it a couple times a year in Vegas at the Vegas Convention Center. Great one because it's so easy to get into Vegas. Hotel rooms are so cheap, and it has lots of stuff to do after you're done when your feet hurt from walking the floor. It's huge. You have basically every kind of product out there, from stuff from what they call a C store, which is a convenience store products, to fashion, beauty, some electronics. It's not super heavy electronics, a little bit there. A lot of home goods, a lot of general merchandise, things like toilet paper, soap. The liquidators are all there. All the big name liquidators will be at that show. They have a whole section specifically set up for them. You want knives, you want stun guns, you want rugs, it's there. So it's
Hmm.
a great way to walk the floor, look in the specific areas that you have interest in, or that you've done some research and you think are valid places to look. And you can go there. I went to the show. Like I said, I got a lot of people from some of the Facebook groups to come to the show. They met me there, and we walked the floor. And I basically just showed them how easy it is to make a purchase of the product, and kind of how to go about it. And the tips that I'll give people on trade shows is, a lot of the manufacturers are representing their products, and we all know that manufacturers generally don't like a whole lot of Amazon sellers. So going
Hmm.
up, they're going to always ask what kind of store, because they want to see if you fit their market. If you're a convenience store and you're over there talking to the guy who sells um, summer patio furniture, you don't fit his market. He's going to be looking at you a little weird, right?
Right.
So what I said was, treat this kind of like dealing with a Chinese manufacturer doing private label. Go there and just kind of fake it till you make it. Kind of, if they ask, what do you do, to say, well, we have multi channels. Or me, I just basically say, look, I'm a distributor and I'm looking for new lines to carry and represent. I sell in multiple channels. I sell all over the world. We sell everything to everybody. So I'm not lying, but I don't have to tell them, hey, you know what? A majority of my business is online e-commerce,
Right.
but I'm not going to say I don't sell online,
Hmm.
you know? And so, I kind of I don't want to turn them off right away. What I want to do is find out more information. I want to find out if they have a map. You'd be surprised how many manufacturers were there, and they didn't have a manufacturer's advertised price, a map, a price that you cannot sell below, or they'll
Hmm.
stop selling. And those are generally tend to be really good opportunities to sell online if it's a decent product. Also, you'll find that your margins are fairly good, because if you buy directly from a manufacturer or retailer, you're going to get at least 50 off. I don't think I got anything that wasn't 50% off of what they were selling for online today. There were a couple things that were a little higher. I didn't buy those, but I was able to do some really cool stuff there, and I was able to get all new product and brand names, even brand name. stuff that people would look at. And I made some good connections. There was a whole section set up for uh, Chinese manufacturers. It was like the little mini Alibaba section.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to talk to a Korean makeup and beauty manufacturer that has some really good products, and I've already started dialogue with them to start potentially pulling their products in. There were just there were textiles from the Asia Pacific region. There were several Chinese vendors as well selling products. Lots of different styles and types of products. So, from kitchenware to makeup to electronics, it was pretty much all there. And if you don't want to travel to China and you're having a little problem on the Alibaba, this is a good way to get general arbitrage products in line and be able to buy enough volume and have enough that you can resupply on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest trick was what I call buy the booth. Almost all of the trade shows, New York, Dallas, LA, Vegas, when they have a trade show at the major convention centers, the companies will spend a lot of money to bring their product in. And when they bring it in, it has to be set up. Most of the cities where this stuff is set up, it's set up by the unions. So the booths are set up by the unions. Everything gets set up. All the electric, everything gets set up. They can't sell anything out of the booth because it violates their terms. They can't unplug anything. They can't do anything, basically. And when the show is over, the union guys come in and tear it down. It's a very expensive process to go to one of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to reduce their expenses and not have to ship stuff back to their warehouses, most of the vendors who have a booth with all this brand new product that they're promoting and selling will sell the booth, and you can buy it.
Nice.
You can come in and they'll have, let's say, for example, I bought a half a booth at ASD for $8,000 and got, I think we got 4 pallets. So about $2,500 a pallet, all kinds of, it's all like remote control helicopters and quadcopters and those Christmassy things. I wanted to grab a nice little stock of Christmassy type gift things that I could put up on Amazon and sell just to kind of bump sales for the Christmas season. And so I was able to get half that booth for $8,000, and it's an easy 16,000 selling it at double price and still being at a price that makes it worthwhile. I mean, for 10 or 12 grand, you could buy 50 grand worth of stuth.
Oh, now you have my interest.
Yeah. So be shrewd. Make sure you know what you're at, but you can get a good deal to buy the booth, and that happens on the last day of the show, which is usually a half a day, and then they start breaking the booths down. So the last day of the show, you just go start buying booths, and like you said, there are people who show up there with semis, and they just buy booth after booth after booth, and they load it themselves and bypass all those extra costs. It's a pretty cool way to load up fast.
Very nice.
Yeah, but a Google search will get you the trade shows. There's the Dallas Convention Center. There's the New York. Brain dead on that one. But the New York has the whole wholesale district where all the manufacturers hang out that you can buy just about anything. And there's a lot of import products there too that you can get. And then LA has a big convention. Almost all the big major, Chicago, St. Louis, have those type of conventions that come into their towns. And they happen almost once a month. There's people who just make their living going from these trade show to trade show to trade show, selling their products. A lot of private label products sold there too, by the way, Rye, just to let you know. So it's another avenue to move your private label brand.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely look into that.
There was a lot. We actually saw a really cool pet company that did pet products. They had basically only like 4 or 5 SKUs. It was several different variations and colors of the same product. They had won a bunch of awards, had a really cool display, and they had a great product, and yet they were only like 4 months old. The company was only 4 months old, and it was private label. They were manufacturing it in China. It was their own product, though. It was not, nobody else had what they had.
Right.
But it was really cool, and it was a way for them to move a really good product. And they were just doing the trade show circuit, bouncing from one trade show to the next one to the next one, and taking orders. And I know that me and a couple other people placed a decent sized starter order. By the way, starter orders at these is like $500.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, I need to mention that starter orders from the distributors, most of these manufacturers, is not huge. It's small. It's $500. It's not a lot of money. I probably made 10 purchases, and I think I spent, well, I don't take the booth into account. I only spent about $4,000.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, so you can kind of like test things out. It's not probably too much risk.
Test the market, see how you're going to bundle it, check and make sure everything's going to be cool. You don't have to go all in, So definitely a cool way to get yourself moving, and a whole lot easier to look them people face to face and get some stuff happening. All right, let's move to the next section. We're getting into your area now. I think online arbitrage. I think we kind of talked a little bit about that. But online arbitrage is a lot like retail. It has some interesting features that make it unique, and it works well. Here at GDW, we've got several customers who actually make a decent living, doing online arbitrage. And generally what they do is they will look for what's called a loss leader, which is the last one on my deal. Loss leaders are products that are sold below cost by retailers to draw you in, to get you to add to the cart and buy additional products, which are going to make up the margin loss. And if you're smart and you understand where those are, look for those. They're Facebook groups, the BOGO groups. They all list a lot of those leaders, but I would look at those groups, figure out what they're doing. I don't think I would try to buy the ones that they post. There's a few good ones. Be careful on that one, but learn what a loss leader is and how to identify it so that you can find them at all the majors, the Macy's, the J.C. Penney's, Walmart, all those stores. Also, there's some coupon sites that are out there. And to be honest, I had it in my phone and I can't find the note. I wrote it down. But there are sites where you can buy retail, the little retail shopping cart, like an Amazon card or JCPenney card or whatever. Say it's valued at $100, but you can buy it through these sites for $90. So you've already made $10 there. And then you can stack coupons on top of that for discounts, like your first purchase online at Walmart.com, 25% off. So you take the 10% that you just made on buying that Walmart gift card, and then you use that Walmart gift card along with your coupon purchase. You end up with like a 35% off of what the price is, and then you find the products that are selling well on Amazon at the right margins. You can stack and really add to your margins that way. And do really well. And you find that the best place to do this is the large retail sites.
Nice.
And what you do is you buy it online, and then you don't even put your address. You just ship it straight to GDW Inc. Selfish plug. No,
love it.
Actually, right, it's true. We have customers that do this. They just ship it, their name, care of GDW Inc., our address, ship it here. They'll put in a work order online. We'll wait till all their purchases stack up, and then we'll process it as an RA/OA process, get it out the door, get it into FBA for them. They don't have to remove stickers. They don't have to remove labels. They don't have to poly bag. They don't have to put choking hazard stickers made in whatever country. They don't have to do the expiration date stickers. They don't have to deal with any of that stuff. We follow through all those processes and get it out the door for them. So if it makes it easy, then you just focus on buying, shipping it here, and we do all that work. We take the hard grunt work off your hands. It gives you more time to do the online arbitrage component.
And it leaves more room in my living room. Because like I said, right now I have boxes in there. And now I'm having a lot of it done to where everything's packaged in a way I can literally look at it and like get it right back out. But I will be using a third party or a hub very soon, because I can't do it. And I'll be moving, and I know I need to still make these orders. So I'm with you. Yeah. Send to Alan, guys.
and that's definitely a subject that I'm going to bring up when we talk about scalability in another video. And I don't want to go too far into it, but I'm going to review scalability and what a real business is and what a hobby is. And I'm kind of playing around a little bit with it, but I'm going to go into that because you made a valid point. And you know, yeah, as a one-man show or one-woman show, there's only so far you can get. And I'm not saying you can't make a good living as a one-person show. You can. I did and have.
Oh
But
yeah, but there's going to be better uses of your time. You'll find that, and you'll get to a point where you'll want to enjoy some of the money that you make, and you simply just can't do that if everything's being shipped to your house and you're always, you know, needing to be home or have someone home. So no, I definitely understand.
and you can't sell a one-person show either.
Nope.
Nobody's going to buy it.
Nope. You got to remove yourself.
That's
you have
right.
to remove yourself.
You're exactly right. So, Rye, now what I want to do is hand over your favoriteest, most happiest place in the world, because you are the private label queen. You are the product sourcing guru, and I want to learn from you. So let me see how I can give you this thing here. I'm going to stop sharing this real quick. You have access to this. Do we need to share it, or? You can always share it from your desktop because I think I gave you access, right?
Right, you sure did, yeah. So give me one moment. I'll go ahead, just open it back up, and I'll share my screen. Not a problem.
I did the present to everyone, so I think you got it, right?
Yep, I'm okay. Can you see my screen?
I see you.
Okay, give me just one moment. It is loading.
Oh man, so that was fun. That was kind of fun. You brought up some good points. Hey, look at that.
Now can you see?
We're back.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so so there's there's so many different ways you can source. If you are just absolutely lazy or just not confident, you can get a sourcing agent. The good sourcing agents, and you can actually find sourcing agents via Alibaba or just word of mouth. The good sourcing agents will not charge you anything, but rather take a percentage from the manufacturer. So if your order comes to $20,000, they may take 2%, and that's between the manufacturer and them, and you have nothing to do with that. So as soon as you agree to the price and the order amount, then they know what they're getting. So that's what the good ones will do. There are some that want just a flat fee. I don't suggest, unless you have a relationship with the person, that you pay anything up front. I've never paid anything up front, and that's why I personally don't suggest anyone do it, because I know that there's good people out there that's going to get the job done that won't need that or even request that. So yeah, so if you're absolutely just lazy or just not confident and you want someone else to do it, you could definitely use what's called a sourcing agent. And like I said, you can find them US and China sourcing agents via Alibaba by just searching sourcing agents. Local manufacturers. I personally do not use local manufacturers because I would only use them for two types of products. And that's going to be anything that goes on the human body or in the human body. So let's say supplements that goes in the human body. So I would not source that from China. And there's a couple of reasons. China's laws are different than ours. So they're able to have like a higher concentrate with certain things that we can't do in the US and that are debatable as far as being safe. Also, when you're shipping the goods from China to here, there are things that can happen chemical wise during shipment that could alter what you're selling. And with the liability of something going again on the skin or in the skin, I personally would not take that risk. So if, like I said, if anything's going on the skin or in the human body, I would definitely go local. But other than that, I source from India, China, and Italy. So for me, sourcing locally isn't a big deal. again, if I were going to do something on the skin or in the human body, I would actually go to places like CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, places where I know my product exists. I would get the Rite Aid or the store brand, and I will look on the back, usually on the back in very small print near the bottom, they actually tell you who's manufacturing the product. And you can reach out to them to have your product private labeled or white labeled. So that's a trick that I learned a couple of years ago when I considered going into supplements.
As you know, I'm in the food and supplement business, so I agree wholeheartedly on that one. Even if I decided to expand my brands internationally, I would end up having the product co-packed there.
Right. And I mean, and there's some, I mean, you can get the actual product, you know, produced in-house here. Let's say if you're in the US, and then you can get like the containers produced in China and then have it shipped to your manufacturer. Or there's certain things where you can do to combine having the US quality, but not paying the US price. Because I think that's a lot of why a lot of people don't like to source in the US because of the price. Some people like to source in the US because, you know, they're afraid that they'll be scammed. Some people like the made in the US badge, which is very honorable. You know, some people feel they are, you know, giving back to our economy, which is great too. But if you're kind of strictly looking at the numbers, sourcing locally can be expensive at times. It can really cut into your margins.
Yeah, it's gotta be the right product, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Alibaba and I'm going to tell you what I look for in a supplier, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, cool. This is the part I was excited about, how to find those suppliers. Looking at how you look at the fancy, well, what's coming up next, the exciting fancy tool part, and how you do that kind of stuff. That's the cool part. I'm already taking notes.
All right, wonderful. So let's just say, and please don't go into this niche. Let's say we're looking for yoga mats. It's very saturated, guys. I promise you. I don't even have to. I can do some research to show you guys, but it's saturated.
Great example.
Right. So, okay. So there's a couple things I look for when I'm looking for a manufacturer. For starters, I'm looking for manufacturers that's been on Alibaba for more than 3 or more years.
Oh, wow.
What 3 or more years tells me is that if there were any problems, the likelihood that Alibaba hasn't been aware of it is very slim. Also, at the 3-year point, you start to get to see stats like how many transactions they've had. So, for example, this person has been here 5 years. They've had over 500,000 in sales between 36 transactions. This lets me know that there's been, 36 times. Of course, there's been more because not everything is done through Alibaba. A lot of it's done through, PayPal and bank transfer. But it lets me know that they're doing business. Also, there's some data that's going to show such as response rate. So they respond on average. It's likely even sooner, every 2 to 3 days, and they reply to about 80% of people who reach out to them. Now, some people may say, well, why isn't it 100%? Well, you have to also consider that just like we don't want to be scammed, they don't want to be scammed too. So they're going to get messages that it makes just no sense to even, bother with it, not even entertain the message that they got. If they don't feel like it's, serious, or maybe it was just a copy and paste type thing, they're not going to answer. So, in my opinion, anytime the response rate is over 70%, giving a lenient that maybe a little less than a third of messages are just complete, a waste. Because, we get it too, guys. You guys get the Facebook messages probably that say, oh, you're so beautiful. And it's like, huh? Who are you? Who are you? And we don't even respond. We just mark it as spam, let Facebook do this thing. So the same thing, that type of mentality needs to be taken with Alibaba. Also, you'll want to, in my opinion, use a manufacturer versus a trader. A trader is going to be a middleman. With traders, usually the prices are higher. And then also you have to think, if you're a trader and you ruin the relationship between your manufacturer, or you just don't feel like hearing the product anymore, then if I'm a buyer from you, I'm kind of, I'm SOL, like I'm just out of luck, unfortunately.
So how can you tell the difference?
A lot of times you can click on the company, you can go to company profile, and it'll say business type right here. This company here is a manufacturer and a trading company. So I would have to actually contact them to ask if they manufacture the yoga.
So so they may manufacture some products and then they kind of just represent other products?
Exactly. But there are going to be some companies that are one or either. So let me see if I can actually find one of those. Let's see, they've been on here 7 years. They're also a manufacturer trading company. All right, and keep on going down.
I noticed they have some new features up at the top. They don't just have the check boxes, they actually have some regional stuff that was pretty cool.
Yep, and we could definitely take a look at that. We just I'm trying to show one where it's just.
Wow, look at they put the badges in their little picture. That's cool.
Yeah, for some reason in the yoga mat industry, people are trading and manufacturing. Let's see.
Any way to make a buck.
No, they're a trader. Right, exactly. Okay, so this is 2 years. I wouldn't work with them, but this is just an example. Oh, darn. They're a manufacturer trader. Okay, well, usually, guys, it can be one or the other, but for some reason in the yoga mat industry.
You can just ask them then, right? Which products are yours manufacturer and which ones do you represent? Because we just want to deal with your manufactured products.
Exactly, and that's what I would go for. Also, when you're looking at a supplier, you want to look for someone who deals in the same niche. Like, you don't want to deal with someone who sells iPhone cases and then socks.
That's a good one. Look at that. That's a rubber manufacturing company that does rubber and plastic. So
see, I was just about to bring up the next point. I'm so glad you pointed that out, Alan, because even if they're not in the same niche, if they're working with the same material or material types, that could be a great sign. For example, let's say a company specializes in silicone goods. So you will not only have like silicone kitchen goods, like a silicone baking mat or a cupcake pan, but you may also have silicone health supplies. Now, for what I just told you, you definitely don't want to work with someone who has their hands in multiple baskets. They're producing those types of products because it's made of that particular material. And the reason you want to stick to someone who sticks to a particular niche or material type is you don't want someone who is, like my mom says, wishy-washy, going from one product to another, because you want long-term relationships. With long-term relationships come benefits that I can't even begin to describe. Not only like pricing, it's not only financial, but they start to tell you about, cutting edge things that you may not be in tune to. They're able to suggest products. Right. Yeah, exactly. So the benefit of a long-term relationship, I've had relationships with manufacturers for, 2-3 years. And it's just amazing the type of things that they'll tell me. And of course, it also is nice to get like a Skype versus saying, hey, I just want to say hi. I know you just made an order. I know everything's good. I just want to say hi, see how your day was, or, sharing a funny picture. Those types of things can brighten up your day too. So that's a good thing as well in my book. Let's see. Oh, also another thing, if you cannot find your product on places like Alibaba or DHgate, one thing I like to do is I do like to order a product from Amazon or go into a specialty store and get the product, and I like to ship it to my manufacturer for them to actually make. When you have a good relationship with the manufacturer, they're likely not to charge you like a mold fee, because they know that you guys have years and years ahead, and they're going to make their money back from that mold machine. And what a mold machine is basically a machine where they're able to make your specific product in the manner that you wish, the same size with the material, everything. And these mold machines can get costly. I paid as little as $35 for a mold and as much as $2,000 for a mold. And I've seen, the mold fees go even higher. But like I said, when you have those relationships and they see the potential in it, they're likely to work with you on that mold fee or not even charge it at all. So that's really important too. Another thing.
Great point. That's what relationships give you. When you build those relationships, you have opportunity.
Exactly. One other thing I want to mention is when you look at the product page, and Alan, I'm going to go back to those features that you're talking about on top. When you go to the product page, there's a couple things you want to take note of. Like, how did the same way you kind of source on Amazon, how did the pictures look? Do they look like they did take their time to me, this example right here, they look like they're really interested in selling me these darn mats. Like they have very nice pictures. They branded them. They have the website right here. So I want to go off of Alibaba. I can.
What kind
Also
of mats?
scrolling down, these are just yoga mats.
No, you said darn mats.
Oh, yeah. They really want me to say that. Yeah, darn. Yeah. They don't want to say a bad word on the show.
Oh, no, I love it.
Also, there's just tons of information here. That's another thing. If it's bare, I kind of tend to look away. But this person is really wanting me to get to know what is going on with them and these mats. They're telling me the material. They're telling me the more popular size, the pattern texture. They're letting me know that there's more than 10 types. They're also letting me know, where it's coming from, as well as the usage. I love this right here. I absolutely love this, because if I'm marketing this, I'm probably just thinking yoga mats. But in my title of my Amazon listing, other people who may search my mats may be searching for Pilates mats or gymnastics or dance or whatever else. Exactly.
Nice.
Also, I like when a listing will show like their contact information. Let me see if they actually show their contact information, because it makes it seem more transparent. They're not trying to hide anything. So scrolling down here, this is just a great, like the pictures are great. The information is great. Yep. Bam. There it is. The telephone information, their office address, their website, the company name. I can Google their company name to, check them out. This is just an ideal listing for someone who I would reach out to. Also certifications. They have them. I love it. And you can get more specifics on that when you actually reach out to them. So if your product needs, let's say it needs to be like latex free, for example, for people who are allergic to latex, they say right here, latex free, and you would be able to, of course, reach out to them. One thing I know with yoga mats is like the smell factor. And that's because a good friend of mine sells yoga mats. His is like awesome. I ordered one. They say that it doesn't have a strong smell. That's what they say. We'd have to check it out. But they're telling us these product features and, basically what makes them different. When I reach out to a supplier, I like to introduce myself, and I like to let them know that I represent a small or a U.S. importing company looking to expand their product line. This does a couple of things. It lets them know I'm in the U.S. and it lets them know that I'm an importer. I'm not a newbie to this, so they take me a little bit more seriously. And it also alleviates the responsibility for me, because I'm not sourcing. I represent a company that's sourcing. So when you have to tell them the bad news that you don't want to go with them, maybe the sample wasn't good, maybe you don't want to source a product anymore, you can say, my team feels like this product isn't best for us at this time. I've enjoyed, working with you, and I thank you for your time and help, but unfortunately, we no longer need the product. And it's not Ryan that's letting down the person I've been getting to know for a week or two. It's my team. It's the company. So that's a little tip that I definitely want to share with your listeners and your viewers.
Like that's great, because in all honesty, that really is what we are. We're importers. We bring products into the U.S. and it's for the U.S. market.
Right, exactly.
And as far as your team, no moral challenges. You can stay on the high ground and make sure that you're not fibbing or lying or pretending to be something you're not.
Exactly. As far as these filters right here, the only filter I usually like to use is a Gold Supplier. If I'm in a rush and I want to chat to a supplier versus send them a message, I will check one line. I don't use the minimum order, because a lot of times the information you see right here, it's just something that they kind of like put there to give you a general idea, but you really need to contact them to get the real information. So as far as this mat, for example, it's saying that it's cost $7 to $11 to source. However, you could probably reach out to them and say, hey, I want 400, and you could possibly get it for $6, or maybe it costs more than what they say. So really, you have to take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you'll notice people will lowball the price to get the contacts, like the one below them, $2 to $10.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, the pricing I found is really all up in the air. You don't know anything until you start getting a hold of them, and when you start contacting them, you'll start to see a pattern where the prices all start to be very similar.
Exactly. Yep. And a lot of people don't look at Alibaba for U.S. suppliers or North America suppliers, but you can. You can segment by area, and you can go to North America, and you can look to see who is in the U.S. or who has a representative in the U.S. Because some of these are just like a third party. So, for example, this person right here, they're in Canada. However, it doesn't look like they have any type of like gold star or something like that.
I think Alibaba just
Give me
opened up.
just a moment, Alan.
Is this new for Alibaba, opening up the other, all the other markets are coming in?
Sorry about that, Alan. What'd you say?
Oh, I'm going to say, isn't it fairly new that Alibaba has opened up and you're starting to see European, US, and other manufacturers or reps actually posting on Alibaba?
Yeah, I mean, because of course they've always allowed whoever was qualified, but I think with everyone kind of rushing toward this site, more more people in North America are realizing that hey, there's really some power, and there's really some presence in this company. And I think Alibaba went public like maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
So like people are really like taking note that this is a quote unquote real site. It's not just some China spammer site where people are just like lurking around, but people are really using this site. They're searching here, they're selling here. There's potential.
It opens
so yeah,
up
you're
a
right. I think
true global market to manufacturers.
exactly. So you'll start to see like, for example,
Look at that.
like I said, I would bet anything that this person is a representative here in the U.S., but they get their stuff from China as well.
I like that
But
parachute silk yoga bag. You see that? That's cool. Made in Bali.
oh, that's nice.
Maybe it's just the
Very
color.
nice. Yeah, and this is a trading company, and they're in Canada. So yeah, so they're a middleman. But if you don't want to work directly with someone who is in Bali, then you work with someone who's in Canada.
There you go.
And definitely great for someone who is in Canada, because I know the shipping is just outrageous. I'm hearing from my Canadian friends. They're saying it's just so expensive to get things shipped around in there. So if you can get it sourced in Canada, I mean, oh my gosh, the savings will probably be ridiculous.
Great point. I like that. That's a good one. Being able to find local source products that they could potentially sell online. And maybe even get some customization if they're a true manufacturer or a manufacturer's rep.
So, yep. So those are definitely some keys. And always, if you're going to source something, order a sample first. Never put in an order for 500 or 600 without ordering a sample. And if possible, order a production sample, which is a sample that's specific to your goods that are being produced. I made the mistake of not ordering a sample once, and I got 300 units of something that was totally different than the picture and what we agreed on. And I had to liquidate it. I got my money back, but it was a hassle to liquidate that good because the item was just so different than what I was expecting.
Yeah, trust me. I know I did a whole thing about how we did that at Igloo when I was working with them to help set up video conferencing between China and the U.S. because they were having so many quality control problems. And that what they would do would be what they call the top of production sample, which is the first item off the run. And they couldn't continue the run until that sample was express shipped to the U.S. corporate headquarters. They reviewed it, looked over it, decided on any changes that they needed, communicated that back. Then those changes were made, and another sample was sent with the change. And once it was signed off, then they could complete the run. And those runs were so big, they would have samples sent throughout the production of the run. They would have a sample in the beginning, another one in the middle, another one. I mean, it was a very interesting process. Always a good idea.
And it's great because you can catch mistakes at the very beginning with one or, a few versus at the end with hundreds or thousands of a unit. You're like, oh no, you're supposed to take this part off. And now you're sitting with, 1,000 units with mistakes.
You know it. Definitely don't want to do that. I did that already. 500 units came in. It was like, oh gosh, this is not right. 500.
And it can be something as simple as a color. So the
There was those dog leashes. You remember when I was complaining about those LED dog leashes that I got? They were the dog collars, and they had the LEDs in them. And when I got them,
what happened with that?
I donated them.
Not well.
I
Well,
gave
something
them a
good came out of
shelter.
it, but I know you didn't want to, waste the money. Yeah.
Well, and I didn't want to sell them; they just weren't worth doing it. But as a giveaway for the shelter to put on, the rescue dogs and stuff like that. The collar
Hmm.
itself worked really well. It's just the LEDs didn't stand up to anything at all.
Right. Right. Hey, that's a tax write-off.
Yeah. I
Were the
one of my goals in my mission statement is to pay more taxes to the government than most people make in a year. And
Oh wow.
well, I mean, legally we should take all the tax write-offs that are legally available to us. That's smart business. But if you're profiting and you're making money, you will pay taxes, and that's kind of one of my goals. But if I'm going to take the write-off, I'll take it off too. We're getting there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, Hopefully not next year, maybe the year after.
Well, you doubling in 10 months, I have no doubt in my mind you
Anyway,
won't be
if we
there.
double again, we'll be 10 million next year, and it'll be a whole new game. Every time we get that big, it changes the game. Business structure, roles, processes. Without having documented processes, without having systems in place to do it, there's no way we could grow. And you got to figure, I really don't have that many people. I have more people
Hmm.
supporting GDW as a fulfillment processing service than I do that run my almost $5 million online sales business. We do
Oh
five million.
wow.
We do $5 million with like 3 people.
Hmm.
So it doesn't take a lot.
And that's just right. And
It
that's just
really
proof
doesn't.
that you don't need like literally like hundreds of employees to make this work.
Yeah, but I don't go out there and pack stuff very often anymore. Every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm not. I got to focus on building the brand, building the business, the relationships like I have with you and many other people. That's really
Mhm.
what makes it happen. And if we process everything out, we can really really make it happen. So this is really cool. Being able to look at Alibaba and DHgate and kind of looking at it, and you already showed us global sourcing right there on Alibaba and talked about that. And we also found local manufacturers all in one place. That was fast.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have to be a difficult process at all. I think when it comes to sourcing, people are more afraid that they'll find a manufacturer who will rip them off. And then, like I said, with just a few of those tips that I share with you, being a gold supplier in 3 years and working in the same niche and not using Western Union to set off your samples, the likelihood of you being scammed is significantly lowered.
I've also got another question. I want to ask you this because I see this a bunch, and I want to see what you feel about it before I bench anything. What do you think about going after products that you like? And in other words, I think
Um,
a lot of people like to chase niches that they're personally interested in.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you check it out and work the numbers. Like, is there a lot of competition? Can you profit from it? My rule of thumb is, can I buy this product and have it shipped for a third of what it's selling on Amazon? If not, then no. Definitely don't follow up with your product. All of the products that I sell, they are of no interest to me. They're boring. I don't even think I don't use it.
You've
I don't
learned.
even use the products. So I rather be happy with what I could do with my earnings than happy with the product that gets me the earnings. Because more than likely, that happiness is only going to last so long when I realize that it's not paying off in any event. So be more excited about what your product can do for you than the actual product itself.
You got it. That took me a while to learn. I mean, Gadget Deals was started because I love gadgets. And
Hmm.
you become emotionally invested in your products, then you make unintelligent decisions in buying, you make unintelligent decisions in selling because you're emotionally invested. And I think you said it right.
Right.
My products today are generally extremely boring, bland. I call them toothpicks. It's the most boring thing, but every time you get a piece of meat in your tooth, you need one.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so that's it. And they tend to be the best ones because people like to chase the shiny, sexy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my stuff is very boring, not very glamorous, but the things that I'm able to do because I sell them is amazing.
That's right. You can buy all those fun toys that you want. That's really what it is. And you're
Yeah,
traveling.
and right. I was gonna say one of my passions is traveling, so I began to travel. So that's, I will sell, baby bottles all day, if it gets me to
Oh
Brazil or wherever I want to go.
yeah. I'd love baby bottles, but they better be FDA approved and certified in the US, because that's one of those don't mess with people's kids.
Right. And guys, that was an example. That was an example. I'm actually not in the baby niche because, like you said, it is a very touchy niche, especially when it comes to people, their baby. And then sometimes it's very kind of what I call brand heavy. People are specifically searching for Gerber brand
Oh, yeah.
or I don't have any kids, so I don't know what it is. But there's a lot of, I know, brands that moms and dads just trust over any other.
Yeah, Pampers, Isomil,
Exactly.
and things like that. So, hey, our last section is a cool one, and I know you've got some pretty cool usages for tools when you do your product research. So, how about you kick it off, and then I'll close it out.
All right, sounds good. All right, Jungle Scout, guys, this is my absolute favorite. So I'm I'm gonna go for it. So let's go to Amazon. Oh, okay, you can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I wasn't sure if I closed out. So let's go to Amazon and staying true to our love for yoga, we'll go yoga mats once more. And I'm going to run the Chrome extension called Jungle Scout, which was mentioned in the slide. And Jungle Scout basically kind of gives us an overview of what the product is doing as far as sales, how it's ranking, the number of reviews that it has. So reviews are important to you. It can tell you how many reviews a product has. It's also really good for giving you suggestions to relevant products, because sometimes we are unaware of products that may be an even better fit. So let me go ahead and let it load up so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Are you using the Pro version?
No, not using the Pro version. I don't even know if I even want the Pro version.
But they got a new feature they put out called Trends. It looks like it's similar to Google Trends. It's kind of cool.
Okay, I have to look into it. I
actually never used Jungle Scout until this month. The Terry had that webinar, and they sold me. Greg sold me on that one, and it was like, okay, this is good. I actually started using it to track my own, even to see where they were sitting and what it thought, and looking at the numbers. Because everybody's wondering that the biggest number I like is that estimated revenue.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that.
And I'm like, is this real or not? So let's see what it says my products are doing, and then compare it to what they're really doing. And I think I do enough volume that it's a good slice or a good sample of data, and it's pretty dang good, actually. It's not bad. It's pretty on.
Good. So you can actually with Jungle Scout, like I said, it pulls up the product and you can scroll over it and you'll get like a quick view of it. So you could be sure that all of these are yoga mats, and it's not like one's a yoga towel, one's a yoga headband or yoga ball, exercise ball. You can also rank according to not only the search results, but estimated revenue. So which one's making the most? This one right here is the best seller. They're doing almost for about 100,000. It's very simple. It's a rather expensive mat. It sells for $70. Up here, Jungle Scout does a great job of telling you the average sales rank, average price, and average number of reviews. This is great because it lets me know that if I wanted to get into selling yoga mats, using the formula that I suggested to you, I would not want to pay more than $8, including the item and shipping, so that I at least
landed cost in the U.S. at FBA, right?
Exactly.
So that would include any prep, any bagging, anything that you may need ancillary to that. You want to land it in FBA for $8.
Exactly. So if I can't do it, I would likely look away from this or look at like bundling opportunities, something like that. But like I said, Jungle Scout's a great tool to just let me know, like, hey, is my initial thought about this product a good one? And sometimes I find out that the product isn't making much money. I'll find out over here, you know, who's selling it. Is it a third party seller such as ourselves, or is it like Amazon, or is it merchant fulfilled, like someone's actually packing up and shipping themselves? If it's like it's just being sold by Amazon only, I kind of stay away. Like I said, Amazon's kind of a mystery when it comes to certain things in their data. And if Amazon is just dominating one market, I don't want to enter. I don't. I mean, who's to say they're not going to like just bury me like purposely? Like I'm doing really great and I should be up there, but you know, they're Amazon, they can do what they want. So I tend to stay away from anything that's Amazon dominated.
What would you consider on that one?
I would consider it competitive just because in the search results, there's, you know, 9,200 results. So I could definitely easily get lost in there. But I mean, if it wasn't for this number right here and I'm looking at it, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity because in the top, there's a merchant fulfilled. So this is someone who isn't even offering Amazon Prime. So I know I can get my foot in the door. So this product right here, like I said, if it wasn't for the competition, I'd go for it. Absolutely.
Interesting thing, if you look at that number, but you also look at the number of reviews and then that estimated sales. If you're going to try to even come up there and compete with those people that are selling, like that top one selling 1,436 units,
Mm-hmm.
you got to divide that number by 30 days, and you have to be selling 48 units a day just to equal them, which means
right. You got to be able to keep up with the demand too.
You have to sell 50 units a day to be able to get into that kind of sales volume in that space.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Means if you can do a blast anymore, I think we're all kind of up in the air on what's up with Amazon's terms of service on the blasts and the product giveaways. You'd have to give away 50 a day for a considerable amount of time just to get it up to rank enough to be able to start pulling in some money.
Exactly. So that's one tool I actually love. As far as eBay, because I saw that on the slide as well. The only thing that I like to use eBay for is just to verify that people are online trying to buy a product. So for example, let's go with yoga mats again. I search yoga mat. I go over to the left. I click completed and listings. And what I'm doing is I'm just looking for it to light up green, which means that the item's sold. This is exactly what Terapeak does, but Terapeak gives you the number. So it'll let you know on average how much it was sold for and what percentage of sales were done. So if there's, you know, 100 listings and 60 sold, Terapeak will tell you, you know, it has a sell-through rate of 60%. So as I scroll through and I'm just looking for, you know, tons of green, I'm seeing that there's more black than green. So it's, I know people are buying it, or at least on Amazon, because, you know, it's a yoga mat, and two, I just ran Jungle Scout. But I know that especially if I want to sell on eBay, this may not be the best product.
So it's kind of a saturated market.
Oh yeah. So eBay completed listings helps me confirm a couple of things, but that's how I like to use eBay. And that's really kind of just what I use between, you know, like Jungle Scout, eBay. I like to use merchant words for ideas. Merchant words gives estimated search volume of a certain keyword. However, I don't know how accurate it is. So what I'll do is I'll put in an idea that I have. For example, I might put in yoga mats and merchant words, and then it populates other terms that people are searching for around that word. And then I'll research that based on the search volume.
Can you show us how you do that?
Sure, absolutely.
I have not used merchant words yet.
Yeah, like I said, it's to see the search volume of something, but I like to I like to use it just for getting ideas to possibly sell. So yoga is the word, and I like to search by highest search volume, and then we see that yoga towel is searched 7,900,000 times. Yoga blocks, yoga ball. You know, this goes beyond yoga mat at this point. And then I would just do my due diligence on things that interest me. And this is merchantwords.com.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So that kind of gives you the search volume, so you can kind of say, okay, are there people looking for what I think I want to sell? So do you do all this
Mhm.
before you, as part of your due diligence when you're trying to see if there's a product you want to get into?
Exactly. Like
Cool.
sometimes I'm just still on the fence, so there's a couple things that I'll do to kind of get me to one side. But sometimes I can just look at a product now, not in the beginning, but now I can look at a product. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a winner. This is
I
good.
like the way that they put the category in there too, because I'm sitting there going, pregnancy yoga. Look, 2,600,000 searches. Oh, wait a minute, that's movies.
You're exactly, yeah. So people are probably looking for
I want to work
DVD
out.
instructional DVDs, right, specific to people to women who are pregnant.
But Victoria's Secret yoga pants, that's an interesting one. 3 million searches in sports and outdoors and women's clothing. Now, I
Yeah, I
wonder if
didn't
I
know
can
Victoria's Secret even
find
sold it.
some of those and get a cost plus deal on it.
Maybe.
Could be worthwhile. That's cool. I've never really used the Merchant Words product, so I can see where that could be useful just to get a determination of potential demand.
Right, right. So I knocked out Jungle Scout, eBay, Terapeak. I don't use Google Trends at all. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you.
Sweet. My turn. All righty, excellent. Am I sharing my desktop? Not yet. There we go. All right, so we've been through and gone through the tools and having a great time. Most of you guys have gone through Terapeak, but I opened it up. I don't know. Can you see this one, Terapeak?
Yep.
Okay, you do see the Terapeak. Good. I've got a pro account in Terapeak. I've been using Terapeak for a long time because I sold on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to, oh, it's trying to look for my sales. I tried to use it a lot because I know in the Jumpstart group, one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, they kind of showed some ways we could use Terapeak to do what you just basically did in our favorite straight up on eBay. And I know initially in the very beginning, I just went straight to eBay, and just like you did, I would go and say, what is it that people are buying, and is there a lot of people? I'm looking to see, how many people are there? Is the market really saturated? What kind of sales are happening? And this kind of gives you, it's actually a new view now with these tiles, where they kind
Mm-hmm.
of give you that view of what's going on in particular to a specific product. And you can see, when you start here at the top, because it does go from the highest to the lowest, we can see that the people who are doing the best, you can see how they're selling it also. So 4x8 by 2 inch gymnastic gym folding exercise, blah, blah, mat. So this looks like something a gymnast would use. It looks like something you'd put in a studio, or maybe a workout facility. It looks to be a little bit more padded than the roll-up style mats.
Mm-hmm.
Something like we would use in martial arts
Mm-hmm.
or gymnastics. So that's kind of interesting. It shows a different trend in the yoga mat, and it seems to have a pretty good volume because they stop right here, and you still can do a couple $1,000. And I think I'm looking at only 30 days. Yeah. So we can see that, but you can also start to see that the yoga mats, the volume's pretty low. Microfiber towels being sold as yoga mat towels. Interesting. I don't know. I always get product ideas when I look at this stuff. Of course, I like to sell
Mm-hmm.
food. I like to sell food and consumables, so this would be something I would never get into, only for that reason. But it gives you a little bit of data. You can drill and do some price and demand research, or a little in-depth research here. Interesting. No product data found for the last 30 days. And drive it from there. You can see that this was for a 29-day period. The average price, $395. They had one sale for $395 in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, you can see this seller isn't doing very much. I might like to just look here a little bit better than the picture-based one because you get better data. I sell on eBay and Amazon and Sears a couple of Magento cards. We just signed up. We got a Rakuten account, but it isn't doing anything yet. And we signed up for Jet initially, but Jet is confusing as hell to me because they just don't seem to be. It's a new and interesting idea, but the way that they deal with sellers is kind of weird. They just I haven't dove into it enough and spent enough time in it to really make things happen. I like this space right here because I can see yoga mat as a generic keyword is giving me this kind of volume. So I can see our average shipping price is $8. Our average price is $25. So we're looking at about $33 total on an average. The lowest is about $12. So that would be the number one lowest, I guess. And there's 6,600 listings for that product. And this is my little favorite friend right here.
Yeah, the sell-through rate, exactly.
Which tells me that it's a very crowded market. There's a lot of potential because you can see anything that says yoga mat on eBay, they're doing $184,000 a month. So this is a $2 million plus a year business as a whole. But if you try to get in on it, it's real crowded. Your sell-through is going to be, you're going to sell one every 90 days based on this. This says you're going to have to list it 3 times for a 30-day period to get it to sell once.
Yep.
And so there's some tricks to that that I'll go over in another video that kind of help understand that and how you can keep your costs down but still move product. There's also some of the other tricks that we'll look at too to help make that. But this just kind of shows me that this is a market I wouldn't want to get into.
Exactly.
Another.
And Alan, I don't mean to cut you off and of course edit it out, but I do have another obligation at 11 p.m. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we are running short on the time, aren't we? So Terapeak is good for that. You can change out your dates and times. I know there's a couple of other really good videos by some other people that have really drove into depth on how to use it. But Terapeak is a good tool to see what Amazon's doing or what eBay's doing. And what I've found through experience is if it's this much on eBay, it's probably 10x that on Amazon. So it's a $20 million business on Amazon, not a $2 million business as it is. And that's per month in this particular case. So we'll move off of this one real quick since we're getting low on time, and we'll go back to the end of this one. And I would like to thank you, Rai, for being my guest and agreeing to come here and kind of show how you use the tools and you do your product research. I learned a lot. And
no, absolutely, it was fun, and I learned a lot too. I'll probably be reaching out to you via Facebook and following up on a couple of things.
Well, you know me, that's not a problem at all. And as we continue through this this mind map journey here, and we start looking at how to become zeros to heroes on Amazon, and we start going through some of these other processes, I think you'll see that we're going to try to add some real value for the people that are they're on board and helping out. So we appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We enjoyed having time with you, and I'm going to do this. Stop sharing my desktop. Oop, am I stopped? Well, I guess I am. It says I am.
Yep. You stop. It's you now.
Yeah, there you go. And just thank everybody for doing it. And in the words of the immortal A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good one. Thanks, Ryan.
No problem. Have a great one, Ellen.